Hey y'all, we have launched our very own merch on the Letters 2 Media merch store. We have a bunch of good looking t-shirts and hoodies. If you want your own Haddonfield Horror merch, click on the link in the description.
Don't think it. Don't say it. 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 Don't think it. Don't say it.
Giselle! Did you say the name?
Welcome back to the Haddonfield Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Tawan.
I'm Maria.
and today we're reviewing The Bye Bye Man, released in 2017, written by Jonathan Penner and directed by Stacy Title. An ambitious movie with an interesting plot. But before we get into that, Maria, can you give them a plot summary?
When three college friends stumble upon the horrific origins of the Bye Bye Man, they discover that there is only one way to avoid his curse. Don't think it, don't say it. But once the Bye Bye Man gets inside your head, he takes control.
So, The Bye Bye Man. Interesting movie with an interesting, concept, but my overall thoughts is that they didn't pull it off at all. But what about you two, Maria? What's your overall thoughts on the movie?
I mean, it wasn't like the worst movie we've ever seen. It was just boring. It's a lot of cliches. I definitely feel like I've seen probably the same storyline 1,000 times. There was nothing unique about it, honestly. I saw the movie today, and I am sitting here, and I don't remember it. It's just not unique. It wasn't awful, I guess. Like, it's just not. Yeah, it's just not the best put together movie. Um, I definitely see it being lost in a sea of movies about college students who stumble upon curses. Um, and yeah, it's just I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. If you don't want to waste your time, definitely don't watch it.
All I need to know is how much was this house? Like, I don't think they ever said how much this house was in this movie. Because that house was big as hell, and they're three college students. There ain't no way they could have afforded that. Like, it's got to be the reason it being haunted, or the affected with the Bye Bye Man had to be the reason they were able to afford it. Because I was wondering the whole time, like, how were they able to afford it? But
I mean, legally, if someone asks about the history of the house, a realtor has to tell them. So that probably definitely drives the property values down.
and they didn't ask, as we found out later on. But overall, I was not feeling this one. I very much disliked it. I was sitting there watching it. I was just like waiting for things to happen, and nothing nothing was like really happening for me. Like, of course, like we had like certain like set pieces and stuff that went on, the Bye Bye Man like making people see things and stuff like that. But kind of like Maria mentioned, I feel like I've seen this before in like so many other things, that in this one it it felt the most like copy pasted from like other movies and things like that. Like, there's been so movies that had the whole like, oh, it makes you see things like you're not believing whatever, like Oculus, for example, with like the mirror in that movie. Like, that did that concept like really good, like making you believe like certain things were happening when they weren't. um and I also had like a better story than this, but I don't know. It just wasn't coming together with this movie, and the cast didn't really do any favors as well with it. Um, like, they just felt like really like disjointed. I guess you could say like no. I felt like nobody really wanted to be here to do this movie, which I wouldn't either. But um,
They
it
all
just
needed to check.
yeah, they definitely need to check because when when I got to the middle point of the movie, I was like, why is Trinity from the Matrix in this movie? Like that was definitely like what the fuck. Um,
Like they had some big names in this movie. Like, well, because the actress who played Trinity from the Matrix in here, she pretty sure she's expensive. And then you also have like the guy who plays Bye Bye Man, Doug Jones. Like
yeah,
he's like known for like his monster portrayals. Like they can't be cheap. So like what the hell were they most of the budget? Like did you give and then fucking Faye Dunaway?
yeah, I
Well,
really
Faye Dunaway probably not expensive as she used to be. This isn't Bonnie and Clyde years. So, but anyway,
yeah, I really have no idea though. It was just not. It was just not it. And I do remember around the time like when this movie came out, like how people were like like on it like really bad, and I see why. Um, I'm surprised it made as much as it did, which we'll get to later. But yeah, I just couldn't really mess with this movie fully. Like everybody was like I don't want to say they were making dumb decisions because
they were.
they were, but like they was under the influence of the Bye Bye Man, so they couldn't make out what was real or not. But like I mentioned, like that's been done so many times in other things, and it wasn't like differentiated enough in this one to make me care enough. And plus,
Okay,
they were getting annoying.
but for me, the whole idea of there's this evil that you're not supposed to, if you don't think it, don't say it. That's something new. Like the idea that you can't think about it or say it. That's the only way to beat it. That's like a new concept, and they just didn't execute it.
I feel like I've seen another movie with the same concept, to be honest. I feel like I've
Right?
seen this
And I
concept
can't
multiple
figure it
times.
out. And I can't figure out what it is. I feel the same way, Maria.
Yeah,
See,
like
I don't have that. I feel like this is the only movie I've ever seen with this concept of
Maybe not the
don't think it,
exact
don't say it.
same of like don't think it, don't say it, but like the same kind of like scenario almost like I don't know. I feel like it's something that I've seen that is close in like the kind of plot to this, but I don't know exactly what it is.
it was definitely like a low rated movie. It's somewhere. I remember. I just feel like I've watched this before. Yeah, but in another way, with another ghost, with another curse, where they were like, "Oh my god, if you think about it, it kills you," or like something's following them. Like I guess in a way, it follows is a little similar. Not exactly, obviously, but like they're young kids and they're being followed by this curse that's trying to kill them. I also never watched that movie, but I figured it's the same thing.
It follows.
Yeah, where it's like they're young kids and they're being tracked by
That
something.
that was different. It follows was different.
Yeah,
It
it
follows.
was different.
It follows was a metaphor for an STD.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because the way it went, is that you like say you were cursed by something, and the only way, and the curse is like catching you. If you want to get rid of the curse, you have sex with someone, and whoever you have sex with, the curse is now following them. But the thing is that that person has to go have sex with someone else because let's say you have the curse and you give it to Tuan. If Tuan doesn't give it to someone else, the curse kills him, and then it comes back to you, which didn't mean that you have to go and infect someone else. So everyone has to keep going, getting infected, so they won't die. It's a metaphor for an STD, so it's kind of different and stupid as fuck.
But it's something. I feel like I've definitely seen this before. I
I,
can't tell
I,
you right now, but
you
it's
two
there.
saying that, like, I can't place anything that's like you have this evil that you can't think about. Thinking about it gives it power. I mean, dreaming about
The only
Freddy.
the only thing that's close to me for it is that movie Oculus. and I know it was like the mirror was like the main thing with that.
I've never seen Oculus.
It definitely could be a good watch later on. But I like it's definitely giving me the vibe of that movie. Um, like the whole premise was that there was like an evil mirror, and it made you like see things that was happening, and like the longer that you were around it or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, I've never seen that. But I wish I hadn't seen this movie either. So let's get into some scenes that stood out to you guys. Good, bad, and different. Tuan.
I don't know why, but that train scene kind of pissed me off because I feel like he could have ran a little more faster to get her before she ran into the train.
Jim! Wait! Jim!
Like it felt like he was kind of like stumbling behind her, like trying to like get to her. And I don't know. I just feel like he could have ran a little bit quicker to save. I think it was Sasha. Her name was. I think he could have did a little more to try to save her from the train. Um, yeah, Elliot definitely wasn't. He wasn't trying hard enough for me in that scene. And I mean, it. I feel like it could have been like shot a little better, but I did like the setup for the opening scene as well. Like I'd like scenes, and they're shooting like one shots, but I don't know. It just felt like it looked like it was shot cheaply though. Like which is honestly most of this movie felt like it felt pretty cheap, but um specifically like in that opening scene when the guy just was shooting the people with the shotgun, and you could see like the CGI blood coming off them and everything when they got shot. It was like, come on now, make it a little more believable or something. I don't know. It just wasn't. It just wasn't coming off right. But I did like that they tried to make like an intriguing opening scene. Like when I was first watching it, and we were at that part, I was a little bit intrigued. I'm like, okay, what are we about to get into? And then it just kind of dropped off like right after that for me.
What about you, Maria?
Honestly, same. With what Tuan said. Well, the train scene, I don't remember it, but I did really like the first scene, the opening scene. Um, I liked, yeah, because it was very intriguing. Like I remember watching it, and I was like, wow, like I don't remember this. This is kind of cool. And then yeah, then you get to the whole bye bye man thing, and and then you get lost. But I really like that beginning scene. They definitely started out really strong. Um, Also the scene where when he's driving over to the or no, what the fuck is he doing?
Elliot,
He's driving. Yeah, Elliot, he's driving. And I guess to stay awake, he's like jamming out to the song. And I just feel like that scene is so out of place. Like I get he's trying to keep himself awake, but like I don't know. It was just the scene made me laugh and like cringe, and I was just like, okay, go off, I guess. But like, um, I thought that scene was pretty good. Oh no, no, my bad. I mean, I meant like that scene was weird, very cringy. Don't know why it was there, and it lasted a lot longer than it should have. But whatever. Um. Also, honestly, like that's it. I don't. I feel like a lot of the high intense scenes in this movie were just not really like intense as they were trying to make them out to be.
Well, for me, the opening scene was interesting because you really don't have any context. It's just like happening. So that was kind of interesting. That scene where he's in the house with the old lady and she just like catches on fire. And every scene with the cop was not interesting for me. I was like, this is I hate horror movie cops, and she was just like like do something.
Trinity
And
was phoning it in heavy.
yes, she did not want to be there. It was like this was worse than her work when she did what was that fucking Netflix Marvel show that she did?
Oh, you're
Was
talking
she
about was it
it,
Iron
it
Fist?
wasn't yes, worse than that. I was like, you don't want to be here. Like I don't know why you're down on your luck. You had to take this job, but you don't want to be here and you shouldn't be here. Like you're fucking Trinity from fucking the Matrix. You should not be here. And every scene the with John took me out because he couldn't control the accent. Like his English accent kept slipping out, and it kept throwing me off. And I was just like, I need you. Like either need to be his foreign exchange best friend, or you need to get your accent together because it's fucking it's throwing me off a lot. In every scene with him and with John and Sasha, like if my best friend was all up on my nigga, like John was, we'd be fighting. Like you were not
Yeah,
gonna
honestly,
go
to
ahead.
be honest, that was the most like interesting thing of the movie. It's like, are they fucking? Are they not fucking? And to be honest, they
Like, is
never
he
answered
okay
that
with them fucking?
question. Yeah.
Because when his brother was like, "Good thing you aren't jealous," he like smirked at them and was like, "Yeah, good thing." And it's like, is this like the early like a throuple before a throuple became like a thing? Because what the fuck is going on? And then he just has his dick out in front of her, and he's looking at his dick. She's looking at his dick. I'm like, is there some mutual fucking going on here? Because what's happening right now?
I don't know. I was so confused, but um, what was the? Why am I forgetting that girl's name?
Sasha,
Yeah, Sasha. She should have just went with John though. Like I don't know.
they both could have had me, tbh, at the same time if they wanted. I'm not gonna lie. Elliot and John were both doing it for me. So was Elliot's brother. All right, they all could have got it, but he also that the last scene of Elliot's brother in a car with like his daughter, like what the fuck was that about?
Yeah, that that was. I didn't know what was going on. I thought she was about to say it, then she didn't say it, and I was like, okay,
Right? Like, was that the whole point of that scene? Just like to fake us out? Was that the whole point?
I guess so.
Okay. Were there any kills that stood out for you? And I'm gonna go first. The only kill that stood out for me in any way, good, bad, whatever, was the train station kill. That was the only one. I did hate how it like sped up at the end, but that was the only like standout kill. But what about you, Maria?
Um, I think it would be I guess this isn't exactly a kill, but like his girlfriend, I forgot her name, Sasha. When like
Yep.
honestly, the only thing that got me about that honestly was when his brother comes and he is trying to control himself from saying like the bye bye man, and the man like throws her body off the fucking ledge and you see like her eyes are gone. I thought that was pretty good. And that's it.
Tuan.
Yeah, for me, it was pretty much the um, also the train scene, and I'll throw in the ending as well, because they did have me for a second at the end. Like I definitely thought that it was John stabbing the girlfriend, so they did get me with that. But uh, yeah, there wasn't anything else though.
I'm just gonna say, for a horror movie, this lacked kills and it lacked suspense. I get annoyed at jump scares because sometimes you can tell when they're gonna happen, and sometimes they fucking get me. This movie had no jump scares. I was like, did you forget you're supposed to be a horror movie? Like give me some suspense, give me some thriller, give me some deaths. It
Give
was
me anything.
yes, and it gave me nothing. Well, it did give me John to look at, and I will say that British man very attractive. He's actually the reason I haven't watched this movie to begin with because the actor Lucian, I cannot pronounce his last name. He is a British soap actor who, y'all know me and my soap operas. It's not just American soap operas I watch; it's the British ones too. And he was in two British soap operas that I watched, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna be an American movie. Let me give it a try." And this is what he gave me. Yay!
Yeah, I looked him up after this because he looked familiar, and then I saw that he was in
Some
that
CW.
that he was in that Emily in Paris show on Netflix,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
I was like, that does not look like the same person.
No, he looks completely different now. Completely. And the character of John, I don't know what the character of John was supposed to be because I don't know who he is in this movie. Like he's like, was he just there to help further Elliot's like downward spiral and delusion? Was that his main purpose? Because I got nothing else from John. But what about you, Tuan?
No, actually, he really didn't provide anything. Like they didn't give him anything to do other than to just be a red herring for Elliot that somebody's sleeping with his girlfriend. Like that was honestly the only thing. Like in like the midpoint of the movie when Elliot and Sasha decided they were gonna like look into the house and see what was going on. Elliot went to the library to try to do research, and he had Sasha go talk to the past owner. And then what did he have John do? John didn't do it. John wasn't doing anything. John went to class. Like he really was just there to be another like person for the I guess the Bob Batman to like put the visions or whatever on. And besides that, like he didn't get much else to do besides survive the movie, I guess. Which I don't know if he'll be surviving much longer because we see the Bob Batman gets whoever. Which did he say it? Well, he probably thought it. I don't know. But
He said it to the detective at the end.
yes, you're right. Yeah, so he's gonna die next. But yeah, besides that, he really didn't have like a purpose in this movie, to be honest. And he was kind of just there for the most part. Which I always hate like saying that about characters because it sounds
He
like
was just there as the attractive best friend to like to fuel Elliot's like delusion and downward spiral.
yeah, the only thing that he did was just help get the house. And that was about
Yep.
it.
And depending on how you view this movie, he was one of Sasha's. I mean, they all could have been fucking each other for all we know. Like he could have been just like balls to the wall because that's what it was given. And if he was my best friend, I'd be down with that. But Maria, what are your thoughts on Sasha?
Sasha, I mean, I don't understand why she was so sick. Like she was coughing throughout the whole movie, and like they never really addressed that, and then she just died. So it was just kind of like, honestly, I also have no idea why she was there. It was like John and Sasha were only there just to spice up Elliot. Like, yeah, again, to feed into his delusions. And like that was it. She was just kind of nothing, except now Ellie, yeah, just now Elliot's like, are they fucking? Are they not fucking? Am I crazy? He was crazy, but still, like I, I don't know. She just was just kind of nothing, to be honest. She gave nothing. They both, her and John both gave nothing.
Tawan, what about you?
Yeah, I was also gonna bring up what Maria said about her being sick. Like, I didn't know if that was like a byproduct of the Bye Bye Man, but like it was kind of brought up, but not really at the same time. And with it not being explained at all, I was mostly confused about that like the entire time. Like, oh, is she like, is it like the longer you're in a house, you get sicker or something like that? Like, I don't know. It just wasn't explained, and like, I'm picking at things in my mind to try to see if I can figure it out myself, but it was just never explained. And then we get to, like Maria said, at the end of the movie, and now we Elliot shot her. I feel like she was given one task throughout the movie, and that was to go talk to the um land, the previous like owner who sold them the house, to figure out like what was going on. After that, it was really just her being accused of sleeping with John by Elliot, and that was about it.
So, Tawan, what are your thoughts on Detective Shaw?
Trinity should have stayed in the Matrix. I mean, I probably she might be in the Matrix, like being in this damn movie, because this she was definitely phoning it in this one. Like, it's not even like a secret. Like, you could kind of tell she was really just phoning it in. She wasn't really giving much of anything, and I definitely remember when this movie was like when they had like previews and stuff out for it. And I definitely remember seeing her face a lot in like the trailers and stuff for this movie. And she was only in it for probably like less than 5 minutes of screen time, and didn't add anything. She interviewed Elliot and was at two crime scenes, and that was about it. So they really
You
underutilized her.
post her face everywhere because, like, she's the biggest star. Like, when this movie came out in 2017, she was the biggest star in this movie. So, to be honest, I think she still might be the biggest star in the movie. I mean, I don't count Faye Dunaway because, like, Faye Dunaway hasn't been Faye Dunaway since, like, the late 70s. So, she's still the most famous person in this fucking movie. Like, I don't know where any of the other people are.
Yep.
But what about you, Maria? Any thoughts on Detective Shaw?
Um, no, she was there for like 10 seconds, and then
Well, let's move on, Maria, and let's give your thoughts of the Bye Bye Man. Was he up there with big movie bad guys? Did the Bye Bye Man do it for you?
no, he was just, I don't know. It was just, to me, everything was just so basic. A basic man, a basic storyline. Everything was just, there's just nothing unique. I don't even remember what he looks like right now, to be honest. And I literally just finished watching the movie. Like,
Yeah.
there's just nothing unique about it. The effects just weren't really like, like if I, yeah, it's just nothing really creepy about it.
Tuan, any thoughts of the Bye Bye Man?
He really didn't feel like creepy or anything like that. Like, they definitely tried to like um exaggerate like how like creepy he was, but it really wasn't like giving me that feeling. It was giving cheap. That's what it was giving, to be honest. Like, it was just a thin
It was
man.
given they couldn't afford to have him on set that long, so
It was just a thin cloaked man, and they made him look pale, and that was about it. Like, at that point, they should just made him a skeleton, make the Grim Reaper or something. Like, it wasn't he wasn't like making me like feel afraid or anything like that. Which is honestly most of this movie. Honestly, nothing in here made me feel afraid. Like, I was supposed to be scared. Y'all can even get the jump scares right, so the Bye Bye Man was a byproduct of that as well, and um, he wasn't giving me that feeling of being frightened or whatnot.
What was with the fucking dog?
Was it ever explained? Like I thought I missed something.
No, it was never explained. The dog was just there.
And also, who can see it? Because like when at the end, when Elliot after he killed Sasha, um, and John was still alive, Elliot saw the Bye Bye Man, but to from John's perspective, when they had the camera on like John's POV, he there wasn't anything there for him. So I'm like, can only one person see it? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I want to know what the original concept was. Like, I want to know what the pitch was. Because I feel like something was lost between the pitch, between the concept, meaning between the script, until when they called action. Like, something was dropped somewhere, and I want to know what. Because, again, I feel like this movie has so much potential. They just didn't know what the fuck to do. But I have no thoughts on the Bye Bye Man character itself. So, Tuan, can you do everyone a huge honor and give us the behind the scenes info and facts?
This movie was made on a budget of around 6.8 to $7.4 million. Box office it brought in around 29.9 million. A little bit of interesting facts. The screenplay is based on the short story The Bridge to Body Island from Robert Damon Schneck's nonfiction book, The President's Vampire. And the Bye Bye Man Tail Beast was played by a real dog named Nico. The cast and crew were scared enough of their own villain that they didn't want to say Bye Bye Man on set. Cressida? I think it's Cressida. Okay. Cressida Bonas, who plays Sasha and dated Prince Harry for 2 years, inspired some Royals related jokes on set. In an alternate ending, Alice, played by Erica Tremblay, did read the Bye Bye Man's name in the nightstand, and the director is noted as saying, when we worked on the script, we had a couple of different endings, but the one that was very controversial was Alice was able to see the name and ask her dad, "Daddy, who's the?" followed by "Bye Bye Man." And they note, I'm not even gonna say it. We just decided we'd keep her alive, and that it would be too creepy if she saw it. Shortly before, um, let me start it over. Shortly before one of the train scenes was shot, a woman was actually hit by a train on the track set used by the movie in a way eerily similar to the way Kim gets hit. One of the earliest signs that the Bye Bye Man is coming for you is the coins he leaves lying around, but it's never quite clear where they're coming from. As it turns out, they're not his at all. The eyes of the dog are connected to the coins so that he can be in other places and he can see. They didn't say that at all in the movie. They did not say that at all. In a little bit of critics' reactions, the film currently sits at a 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. The AV Club stated on top of the general horrorness, this is an uncommonly, at times unbelievably inept movie. From its acting to its script to most of its technical aspects, it feels barely fit for the big screen. The Bye Bye Man is so bad, in fact, that it retroactively improves the half-assed Hollywood horror that'd be lucky to better resemble. Bloody Disgusting said the film had poorly developed characters, a muddled mythology, and horrible, shoddy editing, ultimately giving the film a 2 out of 5 rating. And last but not least, JoeBlow.com said in a room full of 200 or so public patrons, the film drew far more auditory laughs than terrified gasps, and awarded it a 3 out of 10 rating.
I agree with most of those, but enough about those people. What about us? Tuan, Maria, do we cash or pass the Bye Bye Man? Maria?
Well, I'm passing. Would, um, yeah, it's just not a great movie. Super boring. I've seen this movie twice, and I just can't tell you what happens in the movie. So definitely will pass.
Tawan.
Yeah, I'll definitely be passing on this one as well. I do not see myself ever rewatching this again, nor do I ever see myself recommending this to anybody to watch. It was very boring, and the fact that it's just available on YouTube for anybody to watch and hasn't been copyright claimed tells a lot about how they care about this movie.
Well, for me, it is also a pass. Like Maria, I watched this twice. I saw it in the theaters when it came out and didn't remember anything except for the entire theater was laughing. And when that happens at a horror movie, you know it's bad. And watching it the second time, like I was watching it to take notes or watching it for the review, but I was just like, yeah, no, no. And honestly, I can't even remember why I wanted us to review this movie. Like, I wish I can go back and like be like, no, don't do that, you idiot, because this isn't a good movie. Like if this was at someone's garage sale and it was labeled as free, you can just take it. I still wouldn't take it. Like, throw that shit in the trash can. That's where it should be. No one should even take this for free. Like, it's just not a good movie, and it's bad because like it has like a couple of good actors in here, and it just they did not care. They did not want to be on that set, and I didn't want to watch them be on set. So it's a pass, pass, and pass. But will we pass next week? Because next week we re-enter the world of Kevin Williams with The Faculty, a hip '90s alien horror movie. Kevin Williamson made slashers cool again. Will he be able to make aliens cool again? It's basically invaders in the invasion of the body snatchers, but like the way that Kevin Williamson makes it all cool. But you'll find out next week. Good night. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?